Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into another edition of the JP Peterson Show here. I am solo today, but I'll have a lot of friends joining me today. See this? Wait. There we go. It's hard to do this backwards. Yes, Bucko Bruce is making his debut today here in the home studio. So it's Creamsicle week. We are ready and lots to get to.
Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Thank you. Yeah. See, this is just extra that you get today when JP produces the show because you never know what's going to happen. So hopefully all good as we get through today. We got a couple hours of good sports talk for you. Bobby the Chief Taylor is going to join us at 10:15. Technology willing. I had a great chat with Chief this morning. You know, we're both of the, let's say, 60 or over quality seasoned vets. And he's never done StreamYard before. So we're going to get him hopefully audio and video. So you guys can put in the comments here. Give me your over under percentage wise on if we get Chief on StreamYard, audio and video. He's never done it before. He's going to do it on his phone. His lovely wife Jan's going to help him out. So give me your over under, Lonnie Wilkins, and any of you guys comment on whether JP and Chief are going to be able to work this out on StreamYard at 10:15. See, this is the drama you get. You're either going to get 15 minutes of fantastic hockey conversation or just me talking about the Bolts. But definitely one of the two, as my good friend Chris Thomas used to say. So stay tuned for that. And also, you guys keep me abreast, love that word, of if the audio and video is all good, because I'm going to try to play some Baker Mayfield today. We'll try to get some other videos in and hear some sound as well. So just let me know if you're hearing it or you're not hearing it. So we'll kind of get through it that way. But yeah, tomorrow Nick Edis will join me on the show, so we'll be back to normal. But yeah, Lonnie Wilkins loving the creamsicle, right there. You know, it's a little temporary hang up job there, but Bucko Bruce will be joining us for the next couple of days. Lonnie says we have faith in you, JP. That is not good. That's a bad bet, bro. That is a bad bet. But Dan Lucas is going to join us at 10:30. Pretty sure we can get that going. And Scott Carter will join us at 11 o'clock via StreamYard as well. So we'll chat with both of those guys. Dan O'Love, the talk Rays and Bolts and Bucs. And, of course, he grew up here in Tampa Bay. He's a big Creamsicle fan. I think he is. I mean, he grew up here. So, you know, if you grow up here, you're and you're a Bucs fan, you're a Creamsicle fan. As many of you know, I'm not. I'm just I'm an interesting observer. I don't have anything against it. I'm just not, you know, I'm not crazy for it. I grew up a Dolphin fan, so we always looked at the Bucs creamsicles as, oh my God, those are just god awful, and you're god awful in them. So yeah, that's the way I always said, why tempt fate? Why would you bring them back? You were so bad for so long. But the fact of the matter is, you know, there was a heyday, right? 78, 79, 80. When Doug Williams was here, making it to the NFC Championship game, Leroy Selman, Batman Woods, you know, James Wilder, the whole crew, you know, Jimmy Giles, John McKay, a lot of these guys, you know, in the Ring of Honor. So there's a lot to celebrate. It's going to be a lot of fun. I heard Carlton Davis say this yesterday. Carlton, you know, and if I could just get the YouTube working today, we'll play this for you. Carlton was like, yeah, man, you know, it's everybody get the 70s vibe. So don't be showing up in your regular gear, Buccaneers fans. Bring your 70s vibe. I just had this flashback. Like, I wonder if anybody in the press is going to get like involved in the 70s vibe. Like, I got to see me some Ira Kaufman and some bell bottoms. Okay. I want to see, you know what? I'm going to hit up Ira during the show and see if he's going to show up in bell bottoms. I want to see Ira Kaufman striding through the press box in a nice pair of bell bottoms, a little satin shirt, you know, down to the navel. If I still had my blue leisure suit from my homecoming course, I was about 175 right then, probably be a little tight. I would be rocking that through, 1977 style, right through the freaking press box. How sweet would that be? That would be, but nobody's going to do that. None of the press, none of them are courageous enough to do that. I'm the only idiot that would come close. But no, I can't. Ira, I don't think we can trust Ira to do that, but it would be fun. Reynolds is a little bit too young for that. I don't think he has a pair of bell bottoms. So, yeah, other than him, Paul Porter, now I might be able to get Paul Porter to jump in. Paul Porter, yeah, he's got the ponytail. He could rock a pair of nice bell bottoms and a satin shirt. Little I even got where'd my peace sign go? Do I still have that on my daughter's peace sign? I don't have it. I'll have to wear that though tomorrow in a cream. If anybody wants to, FedEx me a creamsicle, I'll be happy to wear it tomorrow because I don't have any creamsicle garb. Oh wait, you know what? I do have one T-shirt from. I think I do have one Bucko Bruce T-shirt with Bruce Arians. No risk it, no biscuit. I'll see if I can find that sucker to wear tomorrow. But you guys, from your comment section, I'd love to hear if you're going to the game, if you're wearing the creamsicle, what you're doing. Oh, Lonnie, this is good. This is good, buddy. Lonnie says, put up a Farrah Fawcett poster next to Bucko Bruce. Oh, if I could find one of those, bought at Spencer's. You guys remember Spencer's in the mall? Best store ever. Has all the gag gifts and everything. Spencer's. Like, do they still have Spencer's in the mall? I don't know if they do. But that's where you got all your posters, your blacklight posters. Oh, man, we're going back now. We should do an all 70s creamsicle show tomorrow. I'm going to work on that with Nick. Yeah, blacklight posters. And, of course, your Farrah Fawcett poster. I mean, who didn't have that? And, of course, the quintessential feathered back hair, but that wasn't the big part. You guys know what the best part of that poster was. And you guys can put it in the comments because I'm not going to speak it out over. But you know what the best part of that poster was, right? That's right. It was the top part and her definite assets in that area. Very demonstrative. And back in the 70s, that was like, all these kids today with porn on their phones, that means nothing. But, for us to get even the outline of a, you know what I'm talking about. I can't even say nipple on the air. But did I say it? But you can't. It's like, we were like, oh my God, did you see the Farrah Fawcett poster? All right, you got me going, Lonnie. That is not cool. But yes, let's go. Let's take it back to Farrah Fawcett and Bucko Bruce. How good is that? Yeah. For the OT shirts, yeah, Thomas, you know what I'm talking about. Back when America was America. Yep. Christopher Cole said, I'd do it if I were press. You can't get these guys to go out on the limb for anything. Ain't no way. I'm telling you. Stroud ain't wearing no bell bottoms, even though I know he has some back in the closet. Who else? They're not doing it. I would be the only one sticking out like a sore thumb, so I'm not doing it. Okay, there you go, Thomas. There you go. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. You guys will not believe. You know what? We might even just go ahead and do this early because this is amazing. This is amazing, folks. I'm going to pop him up right here. There he is. Bobby the Chief Taylor. Can you hear me?
I hear you fine.
Oh, we did it.
I know.
We did it.
I just kept pushing buttons and it worked.
I put to everybody in the comments, and I'm like, you guys give me a percentage over under on me and Chief being able to get this done by ourselves. I don't have a producer today, so it's just me and you. And I'm like, I'm talking Chief through it on the phone. I'm like, get Jan to help you. We did it, man.
I know.
This is amazing. And I'm going to make you privy to our recent conversation. So we're talking about the creamsicle orange, which of course was the 1970s. And Bobby the Chief Taylor, I'm telling you, you had some bell-bottom jeans. You had that satin shirt, buttoned down at the very bottom with the gold chains. I know you had all that, right? Walking into Studio 54.
And those platform shoes.
The platform shoes, yes. So I was like, these guys are like, you need to walk into the press box in a 70s outfit. And I'm like, dude, our press guys are so boring. I'd be the only one who did it. Nobody else would do it. I couldn't get Ira Kaufman to do it. I couldn't get Stroud to do it. No one would do it but me, and I'd stick out like a sore thumb. So I'm not doing it. But Bobby the Chief Taylor would do it. He would do it with me.
Yeah.
You still got any of those outfits left? You got any of those leisure suits?
No, I don't think so. I like a hoarder. I keep a lot of stuff, but I don't think I got them that far back.
That's a lot. I got to ask you this. So when you went in to play the Rangers, did you go to Studio? Did you ever go to Studio 50? Was it 54, 51, Studio 50, whatever it was in New York, the old disco days?
No, when we would go up there, JP, we would bus up that morning.
Okay.
And then bus right back because it's only like a 2.5 hour bus ride.
So you never got to stay overnight in New York in the Big Apple?
Only in the playoffs.
Only in the playoffs.
Yeah. If we got them, and we got them, and of course, I mean, we went out a few times, but we tried to keep it a low key so that the reporters wouldn't know or wouldn't find us, so they could start writing things about if we lost, why we lost.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But I imagine you guys got out a little bit. Maybe a little bit. And then in the off season, never a trip up to New York.
No, you know what?
Little disco action.
Yeah, basically no. I mean,
wow, I'm disappointed. I was hoping for a good story here, Chief.
Yeah, I know. Well, we just kind of lived our life through Phil. Because he was up there all the time, and
here, let me see if I can ring Phil up right now and see if we can get you guys side by side on StreamYard. What are the chances of that? I don't know. I'm proud of you, though.
He's up in Boston right now. This is the 100th year anniversary of the Bruins or something, and
that's right. Yeah.
So he went up for that. I think they had a game last night that they walked. How they walked the blue carpet here. They walked some. I don't know what color of carpet it was, but they had about 70 guys that had played in that Boston Bruin jersey up there that year.
So cool.
Yeah.
Hey, and speaking of that, how about opening night for the Lightning? All the Hall of Famers down there, not just hockey, but we get Wade Boggs, we got Fred McGriff, we got Derek and Rondé and Dickie V, and then of course Espo and Peckham and Andy. I mean, how cool was that? That was cool.
That was really awesome. They kept saying, no, there's going to be like 8 or 9 Hall of Famers there, and I go, we don't have that many in the Lightning organization. They said, no, everybody that had put on a Tampa Bay uniform that's in the Hall of Fame. And you know what made me brought me so much joy, JP, was the fact that they finally put Freddie McGriff in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
That was driving me nuts for years why that never happened.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. And he finally got. And is there a nicer guy in the world than Fred McGriff? I mean, like I would have him on my shows from time to time and like want to get him to bitch about about getting in the Hall of Fame, and he'd be like, "Oh, it's all right, man. If it happens, it happens." And I'm like, "Dude, get mad! I mean, for God's sakes, get mad!"
I know. I mean, really a gentleman, and I mean, a tremendous ball player to me. I mean,
oh my God,
I couldn't understand what was he 2 or 3 home runs from 500, something like that.
I think 7 away of like 493, maybe.
Yeah,
like, come on, 500 home runs was automatic. And the thing about, and this is the thing I always mentioned about Freddie, is if you're going to keep Bonds and all these other steroid abusers out, right? Recognizing that, then why not put McGriff in, who did it the right way?
Yes.
His body never changed. He never took steroids. He was the most consistent guy. So if you're keeping the other guys out, you got to acknowledge that he did it clean. I mean, he probably has more home runs clean than anybody pre-1975, 85. I mean, so it's like, come on. How do you not have Fred in? So finally he gets in.
Finally is right.
All right, let's talk some hockey. Just give me your overall impressions of the first game. Some of the news guys. What stood out to you?
I really like the quickness. I think they seem to be a lot faster this year than they were in the other years. The newer guys that has come in have got a lot of speed. I thought I was unbelievably shocked in a sense about that first period, only limiting Nashville to like 2 shots on goal. For me, that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, very impressive.
And then I don't know what it is, JP. You and I have talked about this over the years. About that second period always seems to be a tough period for the Lightning at home.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's that short change for the opposition. They can get guys in and out of there very quickly. It's a longer change for the Lightning, but it just seems like they always struggle in that second period. And then the third period, it was great. What was really nice about that third period was for the JJ, Johansson, the goalie, he really made some key saves in the latter part of that game.
Yeah.
When it got to be that they got that 1-goal difference, they were up by 1, and he made some big saves, boy, to keep them with that 1 goal. And then of course Cooch getting the empty netter. But that's the one thing that's pretty impressive to me was with Vasi, is what you needed to protect us a lead, or if you needed that big save, it's when he needed it, he made it. And that's what that kid did last night. I thought he did a really good job of that. Or not last night, the last game, because for me was that he made the save when you needed it, when we had that 1-goal cushion, and he prevented them from tying the game and forcing overtime, if anything. Yeah. So I was really impressed with that.
Yeah, that's 6-on-5 at the end. It's not technically special teams, but it is. And he just was very calm. He wasn't, going crazy in the crease and stuff with all the chaos around him. He just seemed very Vasi-like, very calm. Yep. And I was super impressed with him. And I don't know about you, Chief, but I thought, man, with a team like this, you can't leave it to 2 inexperienced goaltenders these first 2.5 months. You got to go get somebody. And Julian, obviously, and the coaching staff, they were very happy with what they saw from these 2 kids, Matt Tompkins included. And they're just going to stand pat. And because, if you go get somebody, even on waivers, you got to do salary cap things. You expose guys to waiver, whatever. There's going to be a cost, right? So if these 2 guys can handle it till Vasi gets back, that's a huge deal for this team, right?
It certainly is. And, when you think about it, if you're going to get somebody off the waiver wire, that's that team's 3rd goaltender.
Right.
Or in some cases, 4th goaltender.
Mm-hmm.
So, they haven't got a whole lot of NHL experience, but watching them in training camp, if they were like 19, 20, 21, they have to understand the game a little bit better. And back in the day, they used to always say a goalie reaches his prime right around 26, 27, 28 years of age back in the day. But now, because of the 18-year-old draft, they hope he reaches his prime when he was 22, 23.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Everybody's so impatient now, but I just watched both of them. And the key for me, and you've heard me say this until you're blue in the face, JP, the biggest thing for goaltending is to find that puck quickly before you move. And those guys have done a really good job of that. Yeah. And even when they haven't found it, they're such big bodies. I mean, think about it. What are they, 6'4", 6'5"?
Yeah.
6'6",
6'5", JJ is, yeah.
Yeah, at one time, I don't remember when I first came up with Chicago before expansion, their first expansion, I was 6'1", and Billy Ray, the coach, and Tommy Ivan was the general manager, and they kept walking by me at training camp and saying, "Are you sure you're not a defenseman? Are you sure you're not a defenseman?" Because most of the time the goalies were 5'9", 5'10", you were considered big.
Wow. Yeah, it's way different now. Everything's bigger, faster, and stronger. And I think we could say that for this team, right? They're bigger, faster, and stronger. Obviously, the school bus line was great and it served a purpose, but this team needed to get bigger, faster, stronger. And I think they did. And with the addition of, we'll talk about some of the young guys, Marilla especially, he's 6'2", 210. Yep. He's a bigger guy, but skates really well. I can see him rounding into, especially with this team, a really, really good player. What do you think about his skill set? What'd you see on Tuesday night?
I really liked him. I watched him in the rookie camp as well, and what I like about him is the fact that his size, he uses that size to protect the puck quite well. But for me, for him, he's just going to get better and better because he's used to playing on that bigger rink in Europe, which is, 10 feet wider and 10 feet longer, so you have a lot more room out there. Here, coming over here, it's like, you're playing in a bandbox in a sense, because you can bump into guys by mistake half the time because the rink's so much smaller. Yeah. And I think when he gets used to that, and every time I watch him, he gets better and better and better. And that's good to see because, we need to get some get younger back there, get faster there. A guy that I was pretty impressed with, and he didn't get a whole lot of ice time, and is Esimont.
Yeah, Esimont.
I think he's got some speed. I think we got, Glenn Denning was everything I expected. He won faceoffs like crazy, which we really needed. I expected that out of him, and I think you're going to see a really good big year out of Jeannot as well.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of good additions. And then even, these guys that have just come into the team last year, I think get better and better within the system. And they're talking about a new defensive system, which I bet you're happy about, because hopefully it seems like this system is a little bit more about playing the man and going and hitting people instead of just backing up at the blue line and allowing them to come in. Do you like the new system? Do you get a sense this could be a little bit better?
Yeah, I do. I think I thought in the second period thing when Nashville up their game, we kind of reverted back to the old way, but
yep.
they regrouped and came back and did it. But you can't give too much time and space to the puck carry in this league.
Yep.
And when you do, you're in deep doo-doo. I know analytics is a big part of how they determine things and how they look at things. But analytics has never been able to come up with the heart and the soul of a player, no matter what sport it is. And
that's right. You
got to make sure, because these guys are so skilled now that if you keep them any room at all, they can hurt you badly.
Yeah. That first period was fantastic. Second period, third period was crazy. I mean, we had 6 total goals, I think, in the third period. It was crazy, back and forth. And I said this, the one thing about this team, I think a lot of the pundits are underestimating, and that's the pedigree of a champion, right? It's the confidence to know that when you're down in a game, right, they get down 2-1, even though they've been kind of dominating the game, that they're going to come back. They tie the game twice. They know they're going to get the go-ahead goal. And that's the thing about, when you have your name etched on that Stanley Cup, right, Chief, you don't think you can do it. You know you can do it because you've done it twice. And I think it goes to, individual games as well. You don't think you can come back. You know you can come back. And that's the difference. And I think this team still has, even though there's a lot of guys that are gone, the core of this team still has their names etched on that Stanley Cup. And that makes a difference to me. And I think it's going to manifest itself into this team becoming better than a lot of people think it can be. I'm not going to sit here and guarantee a cup, but I don't see this team falling out of the playoffs. I don't see them becoming an also-ran, not with the pedigree on this team. Would you agree?
I agree with that 100%. You know what? I always call it. I always label us for all the so-called experts up north, JP. By the way, team.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, the Lightning just won another cup. Oh, by the way, they just won another one. Oh, by the way, this is what gets me about this. This is a very, very good hockey club, and they've gotten faster. I know that everybody's wondering about it because Vasi was such a huge, huge part of our success, and him being out, for possibly 2 months, it makes everybody wonder,
Right. Sure.
But I think it could be, in a sense, a blessing in disguise. In the sense that the guys will probably be more diligent in their own end.
Yep.
These 2 kids are pretty good. Mm-hmm. 4 or 5 games isn't really a season. I understand that. And when you're playing 3 and 4 games in a week, and the grind of it and the pressure that's always on you, that has to be determined and how they're going to handle it. But so far, with their poise and confidence in there. And when that happens, when you have a goalie that's that confident too, JP, it just permeates itself through the whole lineup.
Yep.
They say, hey, this guy's got it under control. We got to get it under control.
And, the other night, I thought another positive was the power play and the penalty kill. You mentioned Glendening winning those faceoffs, which was a huge problem for the team last year defensively. You got to win those faceoffs when you're on the penalty kill, right? If you can start with 1 clear or 2 good clears early on, how big is that, especially for the goalie?
Oh, you're looking at a 20 to 25 second difference, runoff on the clock, and so much of this game now is puck possession, and where does the puck possession freely begin with? Right. It's like the jump ball in basketball. You if you want the ball, you got to win that jump ball. If you if you want the puck, you got to win those faceoffs. And so we have to be a more of a 55% type team on the faceoff. I think a lot of it, we were around 50 sometimes last year, but I thought we ended up right around 48, 49. But that extra, 6-7% is huge.
Huge, yeah, especially in the penalty kill.
Yeah.
Really. And then for Nick Paul, Killorn's gone, and now Nick Paul kind of takes over that spot. And I love his size in there, his strength, the way he can screen the goalie. But boy, he is so strong. And both of those goals that he got were just basically fighting for that puck in front and getting that rebound. Now look at this power play. Nothing against Killorn, but Stamkos with the shot from the office. Kucherov, as dangerous as he is shooting or playmaking. Hedman from the top, Sergachev, point. And now you put Nick Paul down there. That's a good group right there. I like that group.
Oh, and he's got really good hands.
Yeah.
And the way the game is played now, they all want you can't really touch guys like they did in the old days. There's some funny stories I could tell you after over a few beers about guys staying in front of the net too long and when I played. But
give a little nut shot there, would you?
Let's put it this way: there was very few screenshots a lot of times he played with because they were a little bit nervous of coming in front of the net with the guys that I had in front of.
That's it. Hey.
Yeah,
mess around and find out, as they say.
Oh yeah. So if you got a big, strong guy that's got great balance and great hands like Paul, boy, he's just a natural for that spot in the line.
Yeah. I love that. All right, Chief, we got a big road trip coming up. 3 divisional opponents, 2 back-to-back this weekend. I think we'll find out a little bit more about this team. I'm not going to freak out if they come back with 1 or 2 points. You always like to get 3, right? 3 games, 3 points. That would be good. What are your thoughts on this with the Atlantic Division just being better this year?
Well, exactly. And you're taking a look at all divisional guys, at least the first 2. Detroit's better, Ottawa's going to be the dark horse in my mind. It all depends on their goaltending. If that, that Russian kid that they got can really play well for them. But I thought for sure that they're just gotten better and better and better, and Buffalo's, to me, is a question mark, mainly because they don't have that guy in the net yet, in my mind. And but they're a very, very high scoring team, and they can really hurt you if you let them. But for me, I thought Detroit and on Ottawa is going to be really a good test, and especially for back to back, because what we're going to see is, I'm pretty sure you're going to see both goalies in this weekend. Yeah. See how they handle it. And one of them is going to, like Tompkins is going to have his first start whichever game they decide. Is definitely going to be one of the games he's going to play. And I think, I know it's early, but if it was Vasi, we knew he would go back to back. But we got 2 kids that I think that they're probably going to split the time in those 3 games.
All right, Chief. It's going to be fun to watch this team grow. I'm excited for the season. I still would like to do a little transport, you and me, back to 1977, Studio 51, whatever the hell that was. And our would have been one hell of a deal.
I know.
Hey, great job.
Studio 51 was probably the most exciting place,
See up
there.
Oh yeah, and we can bring Espo with us for sure. All right, partner. Sounds good. Great job getting on with StreamYard today. You're fantastic. All right, see you. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. The great Bobby the Chief Taylor right there. All right, quick break. When we come back, Dan Lucas is going to join us. We'll talk some Rays. I can't wait to get his thoughts on the new stadium and the flame out in the playoffs. That was tons of fun. So quick break. We'll do that when we come back here on the JP Peterson Show. JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. So do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back, and we welcome in our good friend, the great Dan Lucas here. By the way, we're going to be at the patio a week from Friday. We're moving to Friday nights at the patio. Great place to watch games. I know you've been there once or twice, Dan Lucas. We'll have a couple of cold bevies at the patio. Great place to watch games. Am I correct? Be part of my library here.
I'm always willing to partake.
Yes.
In the library and in the sometimes shenanigans that follows bad judgment and things like that. And
it can happen.
In order to have a good time, you've got to be in the venue that has good times.
And that is the venue. It's the patio. We'll be 5 to 7 on Friday nights, not tomorrow, but the following Friday. So come on by, Dan, after the 6 and enjoy a cold brew with us and talk some football. So we'll do that. And all weekend long, head over to the patio. They'll have specials going for Thursday night football tonight. Always the place to watch football, Saturday and Sunday as well. If you're not going to the Bucs game, head on over to the patio. The big Gator game as well. Big Gator Club is there on Saturday. So
cool. I didn't know that.
The Tampa Gator Club is a home at the patio. And the weather's turning, so they've got the nice outdoor area. Very, very nice. All right. Absolutely. Let's see this over my shoulder here. See that?
Oh, look at that.
Is that the sweet Bucko Bruce right there?
You know what that reminds me of? My first Bucs game ever.
Yeah. Do tell. I was going to ask for a creamsicle story, so do tell.
Yeah, my first Bucs game ever. My dad took me to a preseason game in 1978, and the Bucs played the Baltimore Colts.
Colts. That's right.
I thought it was the coolest thing I had ever seen. It was how kids, they always tell their first Major League Baseball moment and all that. You walk like the grass in Tampa Stadium was so green. The goalposts were bright yellow and the orange was extra orange. I just thought it was the coolest thing. And it just happened to coincide with, a Bucs team that was starting to get its act together and, from the early days to that 79 season. And, I was 6 or 7. I do have memories of it. And it was cool. And so Bucko Bruce was my entire childhood and my teenage years, and off to college. I'd even come back and get to a couple of Bucs games during the Sam Weish days. and then of course I was living up north at the time when the Brooks and Sapp and Lynch era began and then transformed into the Bucs of modern day. And But I look at Bucko Bruce affectionately. It was associated with losing and bad football for the most part, but it's such good memories for me that it is cool to see it this week. It does. It means a lot to me to see it.
And did they have the big pom poms back then? Did the cheerleaders have big pom poms in 1978?
They were.
Do you remember that?
They were bodacious pom poms that they shook and bounced, and so it was. Yeah, it was the full deal. You know what was crazy? when I was a senior in high school, and then get into college, I knew like half of those cheerleaders were our friends, and so you went. And so it was listen, they're like, wow, I didn't realize you had this in you, but this is unbelievable. So
they're out there shaking their pom poms. Yeah,
Yeah,
we were going back to the commenters today, going back to the 70s and like bring back the Farrah Fawcett poster. I'm like, yeah. I'm old and I'm a little older than you, so I actually was, I went to we had a Pete and Lenny. It was called Pete and Lenny's in Fort Lauderdale. That was the disco. And I think I was like ninth grade. It was like we had freshman homecoming or some type of banquet, and we all had our roughly shirts and our my blue leisure suit. And I'm like 14, 15 years old walking into a bar, Pete and Lenny's, like, fake IDs and the whole nine. And I'm like looking around at the outfits. I'm like, oh, wow, this is adulting. This is kind of cool. So
that was living, man. That was,
oh my God.
Back at you're like, yeah, it's like, God, so glad I experimented.
I had the Italian horn, gold necklace. Yeah, baby. I had it all.
Of course, you were right there. You were in the middle of the Scarface culture.
That was
it, man. You were in the thick of it. It wasn't just the time. You were in the location. I mean, it was.
Well, if you went down to, like in the late 70s, there was none of that. But then there was the Mariel boat lift. And after that happened is when the cocaine cowboys were down in Miami. So, and I was so when I'd go back home, you'd start to get a little feel of that, what was going on in Fort Lauderdale. And if you went down to Miami, it was, you could, as the Guidos, right? The Guido, it was like,
oh, I love it.
It was everywhere. And you're like, I don't know if I'm, let's get the hell out of here now. Well, I'm trying to think. So if you played the Baltimore Colts, is that Burt Jones? Was that Burt Jones?
I had to go back. I went back and looked. I don't think he played in that game. He was the Colts quarterback.
Yeah, I think so. The LSU guy.
And it was right after the Bubba Smith era.
Yeah,
of the Colts, who was one of the most dominant defensive players, who ironically injured his knee in the Pro Bowl at the old Tampa Stadium. The Pro Bowl had a year at Tampa Stadium there.
I did not know that.
Late 70s. And Bubba Smith injured his knee there, and he was never the same after that. But
someone told me, and I don't know if this is true, but someone told me the reason that the Bucs chose orange creamsicle was that the Florida citrus growers gave Culver House money and said, we want you in orange. I mean, that's so on brand for him. But that's the first time I'd ever heard that story. Is that? Do you know anything about that?
You know who I wish was here today to talk about it. It would be the old man himself, Tom McEwen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He would. He was it. He would have. Well, first of all, he would fill up your whole 2 hours.
That's right.
With just that question, and
I'd have 2 trips to the bathroom. He wouldn't even know it.
Exactly. Yeah. But and all the viewers on the show would be just riveted. The guy could sit there and fill 10 minutes, and you're just wow. The guy went on 15 tangents, and he told me.
Remember that? Like, here we go down. Remember that picking up the newspaper, and it was the Tom McEwen column. How did he start with it? Cuban toast, 2 eggs over easy.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
He was the quintessential breakfast at Tahitian Inn with the secret society. Yes. He was in the club.
Tahitian Inn in the morning, Malio's bar at night. Yeah, they're right next door to each other, right? Then you have to go from one to the next.
And they're all synonymous with Bucko Bruce.
Yes,
which is back
Bucko
this week.
Bruce, yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, and a couple of crime families as well. In a good way. All right, so enough reminiscing. Thoughts on the Creamsicle this week? This team, the Lions coming in 4-1 versus 3-1. We're flexed to prime time afternoon, so to speak, on Sunday afternoon. Like, who saw that coming? I mean, this becomes a really big game in the NFC. I mean, you got the 49ers and the Eagles, and then you got the second tier, and I'm going to put the Bucs in the second tier with the Lions. I don't even know who else might be in there.
Exactly. That's exactly how I described it yesterday. We were talking about it, and I said, if you take the Niners and the Eagles, that's elite. And then there's teams right underneath that. The Bucs are in that group, and the Lions are in that group. And I think, having the nostalgic creamsicle game will help us old timers reminisce of the old NFC Central days, because that was a big game, Bucs and Lions all the time. But I think that the sports nation is just as intrigued with the Bucs as they are the Lions. So it made perfect sense to flex this game, because the Lions right now are the darlings. Everyone's having a big discovery here of what the Lions are, and they're legit. They are for real. So I think it's great that the Bucs get to be a part of that. Bucs aren't favored at home. So this is going to be – it might get a little bit nauseating, because I think it's going to be a Lions love fest on the broadcast. I don't know who's calling the game yet, but I always get that perspective when Tampa Bay teams are playing the darling team. It's just all about the other team. So usually. This is a great opportunity for the Bucs on this stage. It's not going to be easy. The injury report for me yesterday, it was very encouraging, but the one bothersome thing, it's not even Mike Evans for me. It's Luke Gedicke's calf that I'm watching, because he's the Aiden Hutchinson guy. And by
the way, thanks for riling him up. The top quarterback pressure guy in the league. Let's Gedicke throw him a little motivational soup. That wasn't too smart, but yeah.
Right. So this is that might be the game for the Bucs offense right there, and what they have to do to help Gedicke out, and who's done really well so far to contain him and keep this offense. I think they're going to have to win the possession. I think it's a time of possession thing, and not turning it over. I'm not even sure. Everyone says the Bucs are going to have to score a ton of points, because the Lions offense is scoring a ton of points. But I think this could be a buck ball type of game if they have the possession to keep the Lions from quick striking them, because the Lions are a possession team too. So
what's interesting? The top three teams in the league, I would say, well, certainly the top two, the Eagles and the 49ers, are 1-2 in running the football. Running what? Who runs the football anymore? Yeah. And you know who's number 3? The Lions. So between them, so what are they? 12, 13, and 1 between them, the top 3 rushing teams in the league. Like, isn't that crazy in this pass-happy league, and everybody talking about you got to have the quarterback, you got to have – these 3 teams are bludgeoning people because they run the football and they have great offensive lines. So to me, this is the Achilles heel for the Bucs in my mind, because I saw what Philadelphia did with them. The best offensive line and the best running back, or the best running game, and they couldn't stop anybody. Now, Devin White was injured in that game and couldn't get off a block, but he has trouble getting off blocks when he's healthy. He's the key to me this week. He's got to get off blocks. He's got to make plays, because their entire running game is going to be targeting him and getting to the second level and getting a body on him. And it's always tough for him to get off blocks. So to me, this game comes, you can have Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Laporta, great young tight end. I don't worry about any of it. Shut down the Lions running game. And here's the key: Kalijah Kancey. We're going to see him for the first time. If he can be disruptive up front, I lost him. Oh, there he is. You're back. That was quick. If he can be disruptive up front and we can stop the run, I love the Bucs' chances. Your thoughts?
I agree 100%, especially on the Kalijah Kancey thing. He's another guy that I don't want to see on the field unless he's 100%, but he was full practice on Wednesday, which is pretty telling. So, Todd Bowles, and he spoke in terms of Vita Vea in relation to Kancey. It's going to really release Vea a little bit and kind of liberate him from some of the double teams he's getting. And the idea being that they will now force everything to the outside, the pass rushers, who are also integral on that run game. So Shaq Barrett, Tryon Shank on the sides. It is all hands on deck to stop the run game. But You said, as you mentioned, the Eagles absolutely shredded this defense running. That's the blueprint. The Saints tried to do it. The Lions are very good at it. Montgomery has back-to-back 100-yard games, so he has gotten, it's gotten better and better. That's how they're coming in. And you could say, well, they played Carolina last week, but you know what? They absolutely did what they had to do in that game. They rolled a bad team.
Yep.
42 points, and I don't see 42 points for the Lions this week, but they're gonna put pressure on the Bucs defense. I just feel like if you have the football and can go the length of the field and put up 7 points instead of 3, if you get 5 possessions in the first half and score 2 touchdowns, I think you're off to a pretty good day.
Yep. I'm not going to sit here and pick the Bucs to win just yet. I love them at 3.5 as a home dog. Love that on the betting line. And I bet there'll be a lot of people on the Bucs. That line will probably move to 3.
Oh, it'll change.
Yeah, if you can get the 3.5, jump on it right now, which I probably will.
Good. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so home dogs, love the home dog in that situation. And the Lions are a good football team. I'm not questioning them. They've been growing for a while, but I don't think they're miles better than the Buccaneers. But I'm still, I know the Bucs are good. I don't know if they're great. There's a lot to learn about them. I think that's why this game is so intriguing to me. You got good on good. Let's see how good. We knew the Eagles were better. That wasn't a surprise, right? Beating the Saints the way the Bucs did was eye-opening to me, because look what the Saints did next week. They smoked the Patriots. I know the Patriots aren't great, but they smoked them 34-0. That Saints team is still pretty damn talented. So what do you do this week if you're the Bucs and you're getting Kancey back? So it's a big day. Now, Mike Evans, you'd love to have him. But I don't want to rush him back anyway. I think you can.
No,
I don't know. I know it sounds crazy, but you have Godwin, Devin Tompkins now. Canales is. It's funny how you can figure out how to use the fastest guy on your team. Byron Leftwich had a real tough time with the slowest team in the league figuring out how to use him, but Canales has figured it out. Trey Palmer looks great, but this is a good Cade Otton week. The Lions are not good against tight ends at all. I think they're 31st in the league. So Cade Otton needs to be part of this package this week, and he needs to step up. He's dropped some key passes. You can't drop any passes. You can't do this. Don't have stupid penalties this week, and they can win this game. And then they're sitting there at 4-1.
Yeah, and the door to possibility opens up.
With 2 games left with the Panthers. Jesus, you're already bowl eligible, right?
Atlanta comes in next week, then at Buffalo for a tough game. And then I think there's a chance to really start stacking some wins for this team. But the Mike Evans situation for me, I don't want to see that guy do a thing all week. I want to see him go out Sunday and test it, and let's give a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And if it's thumbs down, you're not going to replace Evans, but you can collectively fill in for him, which what they did in New Orleans. I need Mike Evans in November and December.
That's right.
He's going to get his 1,000 yards. There's no panic, but he needs to be around in November and December, because I think the Bucs are going to be playing meaningful football as we get to the later part of the season. And this season's so long. Teams go one way or the other at that time, as you know. You're getting ready for the playoffs, or you're getting ready for the draft. And I think this team's going to be in the division race, and we're going to forget about September because they're going to be so caught on the present that Mike Evans is going to be needed then. So if it's not whatever you want to call it, 94%, then just let him sit.
I agree, 100%. All right, let's talk some Rays, bro. I'm watching. You know what I'm watching last night? I'm watching Bryce Harper, and I know we're not going to go get Bryce Harper. Okay, I know I'm not talking about paying for those guys, but it's the stars that shine in the playoffs, man. You got to go pay guys. I mean, it's and then you look at Citizens Bank Ballpark, and he's like, man, I love playing at the bank. I love this atmosphere. I love it. And I'm so effing envious, man. We could have that in Tampa.
Yeah.
We could have that if we just freaking did it right. Our fans are great. They showed up at the Lightning game. They would show up in Tampa. And I'm just, makes me so frustrated that this owner just has never understood it. But, I'm not going to go on a tirade, but it's part of it. That display was disgusting, and I can't blame the fans, because they're not going to support this owner. They're not digging down deep to pay, $300, $400 for playoff tickets for this freaking owner. They're not showing up. And look if you did, mean, if you spent $400 or $500 on those two games, I mean, you can't even see a freaking run scored, for God's sakes, in a meaningful moment. I mean, they were awful. The crowd was flat. It was embarrassing. I'm so tired of people banging on Tampa Bay because we could have better, but they don't understand. Nobody likes the owner. Nobody likes the location. It's a shit stadium. And I'm so frustrated. Where are you at with this?
It was hard to watch from the baseball side and listening to the broadcast as well. I was getting a little sick and tired of hearing.
Oh my God! They're right.
The jabs. No, they're the jabs at the time were fair, I thought, but it's just to me it's low hanging fruit for the outsiders. The outsiders to me are people who don't live here, who are not Rays fans. It's so easy to laugh about the Trop and this and the team or whatever you want to do, but they earned it. They earned that those two games. Until the shovel's in the ground, man, I just don't. I don't see it. I don't see these things. I've seen so many ballparks and arenas, and what the Islanders went through years ago before they finally got their thing situated. They went from the dump to the Barclays Center back to the dump. So if you think the Rays had a wacky situation, the New York Islanders and the number one market in the country had issues. So I'm not until I see shovel in the ground. I'm not convinced that things are happening. And I know you've had conversations with Ken Hagan, who's kind of let you in on the inside of what was going on in the Tampa side and what was really at stake, discussion wise and money wise. And I'll never say never until something's really official. But it looks like this revival plan is part of a whole. That's what's in it for St. Pete. So for me personally, I would love to have the ballpark on the Tampa side, but the part of the 87 acres or whatever it is.
Yeah.
What they're trying to do with it. You and I have discussed what other ballparks around the country have done with
and that's awesome.
Area.
Yeah.
I think is a win for St. Pete. I just want it to be accessible.
It's not
some way to get there for the fans. It's crazy. I live in the Citrus Park area, Carrollwood for the folks in the Tampa side, and I can hop on the Veterans and get on the Howard Franklin and get over to a game. And if there's no traffic, that's the key. It's 30 minutes from the house. But if you're coming home from work and you got to rally up the kids and hop in the car, I mean, these games start at 6:40, and by the time you get there at 7:15, it's already the fourth inning.
Yeah, there's no shot.
So that's why people are considering it. And I just want it to thrive. I don't want it to be sustainable. I want it to thrive.
I don't care what side it's on. I don't care where it is. I mean, St. Pete is great, and everybody wants to make it a provincial thing. I never have. If I said if we had it to do over again, put the football stadium in St. Pete on the water. Because it's on weekends. People can get there. It's a full day affair. Nobody gives a crap, right? It's only 8 games a year. That'd be fantastic, right? But it's not. It's 81 games a year, and it's during the week, Monday through Thursday, and that's the issue. That's the issue.
Tuesday, I sat out. We were doing our live shots outside at Amalie Arena because of the early start time.
Yeah.
So we were outside, mingling with the folks, and I'm just. It was exactly a week after the first wild card game at the top. And I was just looking around and observing and listening, and I'm like, this is so happening.
It's awesome.
It was literally
packed.
The opposite.
Yes. Now,
I know it's opening night, and I know on a Tuesday in December when another team's here, it's not always like a rock concert, but it's happening. It's always the place to be. And I never got that sense in 2 days last week over at the Trop. It was, and then as far as the on-field,
it was zero buzz.
Goes, shame on the team, quite frankly. Shame on the AL East, 0-7.
Yeah.
In the postseason. Like you said, the Bryce Harpers of the world, the star players who rise on that stage. This team has stars who have been on the big stage and come up big, and it just. Baseball's a funny sport. I know. Sometimes you go through these periods. They did it in July. They went through it and got out of it. But you can't – the postseason doesn't offer you that luxury. And the Rays are not the only team who felt that.
No.
This has been a wacky postseason for sure.
What worries me about the Rays brass is, they sit there and say, oh, we have the budget. We can, we can spend more money. I'm like, then why don't you do it? Like you're telling me, so you're going to sit there right there in the under and tell me, oh yeah, I could spend 120 million. I just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Really? Well, then that makes you kind of stupid. And nobody, I wish I was at that press conference. I would have said, what, excuse me. So you're telling me that Stu allows you to spend up to $120 million in payroll, but you would rather keep it at 70 or 80? I mean, really? That's your plan? That's your plan. I mean, that makes zero sense, bro. Zero. And then he says, I looked at our roster, and I thought we were ready for a deep run. Curtis Mead at second base, you're ready for a deep run? You got two pitchers, who have zero success in the postseason that you're starting. You got a banged up, you're starting a center fielder who hadn't played in 3 weeks. You looked at your roster and thought, oh, we're ready for a deep run. I'm like, okay, well, so
I think the thinking was that there was just going to be a switch flip by inserting a name. And as we saw, that didn't come to fruition. I remember a conversation I had years ago with Andrew Friedman back during the Carl Crawford free agency bonanza. And he said that he had a set number and they had all the money in the world to pay for Crawford. And he said, but he wasn't going to put 25% of his payroll into one player, but for whatever reason, if the guy gets injured, now your 25% of your payroll is on the injured list, but which made sense if you have a finite number. But if the number is willing to, or is being perceived as flexible, then why not go for it? The Rays did a fantastic job of building a team for the marathon of the regular season. You cannot question that. And obviously the manager, in my opinion, is one of the best in the game, managing a team that went through adversity that would have buried other clubs.
Yep.
But you do have to look, if you're going to bring in a Zach Eflin, if that's going to be your guy, and sure, he gave you bang for your buck, 16 wins. If you're going to take that route, you've got to make sure that these people are now in place to get you over the hump when it matters the most on the short, the short series, facing elimination when you need an out or need a hit or something. You make sure you got that lined up to go to, and these other teams do it. And I credit the Houston Astros for being in that era and going and weathering their issues and for what they've done. And the Rays aren't alone. The Dodgers got embarrassed.
Yep.
The Orioles got embarrassed. Teams the Braves are on the brink. Yeah. I mean, are you kidding me? I thought that this whole tournament, and the Braves can still win that series, but I thought this entire postseason was about who's going to get killed by Atlanta in the World Series.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
They may not even make it to the NLCS. So that's how wacky the postseason has been. But Rays didn't pitch, they didn't hit, they didn't play defense. It was an imperfect storm of terribleness on national TV.
It was
the worst you could have.
Perfect shitstorm is what it was. That's what it was.
Exactly.
All right, Dano, what's coming up on News Channel 8 this weekend? What's going on over there?
Oh, man, we're creamsicled out, man. We're talking creamsicles all day, all week.
Yes.
So we've got practice today. We're going to take a look and see who's running around a little bit. I think we're paying attention to Mike Evans to see if he starts to get limited. Again, I already gave you my opinion on that. Devin White running around looks very good.
Yeah.
So I think the bye week did him some good. So you're going to start to analyze this matchup with the Lions and some of the guys who need to come up big. Just happens to be guys on the injury report. So, by the way, the Lions injury report had like 10 guys on it yesterday.
That's right. There's two sides to this. Yeah.
Right. There's two sides, of course. But time of possession, JP. Time of possession and the defense stopping the run.
I got you. Great stuff, Dano. Appreciate your time as also. So go get those bell bottom. I said, I would be the only one in the freaking press box to wear bell bottoms and a satin shirt down to my navel. I said, Kaufman ain't doing it. I know Stroud ain't doing it. None of these guys that are old enough and have it in our closets are doing it. So I'm not doing it. Don't expect to see it.
Yeah, it's got to be 100% participation or it doesn't work.
Which we're never getting.
Right,
exactly. No way.
Exactly.
All right, brother. Thanks. We'll see you Sunday. All right. Dan Lucas there. Yeah. Never going to happen. Never going to happen. All right, quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk some Gator football with our good friend Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. As I'm trying to find what I'm supposed to go to here. Yes, JP's producing the show today. It's always fun. All right, here we go. We'll be back 3 minutes. Scott Carter will join us. Thanks.
Do you have any old coins sitting around the house? Well, the Golden Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. Their gold buying program includes sterling silver, silver, platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver flatware. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't, so check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of any family-owned jewelry store in the country, especially with summer coming to an end. The holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start your holiday shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or have any birthdays or anniversaries coming up. Come on in and find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. And the best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. The Golden Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance your purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get a $5,000 diamond for only $83 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Hey guys, are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well, so do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show on this Thursday, and it's time for the Jeeves Law Group Gator Report with our good friend Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. What's up, Scotty? How are you, my friend?
Hey, JP, doing well, man. Just staying dry up here. Been a stormy night.
I saw that. So, yeah, absolutely. How was Gator Growl? Did you participate at all?
You know, I did not go this year. It's not like it used to be, JP. Yeah. It's a lot different. But I think they did have a good show. I saw some.
It's more for the kids than the alumni, right?
Yeah. You know, I've crossed that line, unfortunately.
Not me, baby. I'm fighting it all the way. I'll be at homecoming any chance I get.
Keep up the good fight, buddy.
Oh, yeah. So, listen, the party was had on the field, right? When the Gators play at home, They are a different football team, and they certainly showed that against Vandy, a team they lost to on the road last year, and they pretty much destroyed this year. Just let's go back to that game. What were the highlights for you?
Yeah, I think it was really what you said. I mean, the Gators needed a win. We all knew that after that performance at Kentucky. It was really a kind of just a dejected week around here going into the Vanderbilt game. And, it was a game you thought the Gators would win, but you just never know because they've been so inconsistent at times. And they put the kind of performance together they needed. Vanderbilt did make a game of it early, 7-7. But from then, Gators took control. Graham Mertz had another excellent, game. He finished 30 out of 36, 254 yards, a couple of touchdowns. Montrell Johnson Jr. rushed for 135 yards. They made a few big plays. I thought the defense overall rebounded from just being out muscled up at Kentucky. And now we'll see if they can reverse this trend on the road, JP, because it is eye-popping when you really dissect it. I mean, the Gators have lost 13 of their last 14 games away from the Swamp, and that's some true road games and about 4 neutral site games. But still, yet when they're not at the Swamp, they have not been good in a long time.
Yeah, that's troublesome. There's no question about it. And this is a game that they can win, right? You can compete. They have the athletes to compete with South Carolina. Now, before we move on to that, though, I do want to dial back on some of the highlights here, especially Trey Wilson got his first touchdown, Gaither kid here. So tell me about his maturation. How do you see his game coming together?
Yeah, it was good to see him back out on the field. He missed some time with the shoulder injury. And, I mean, there's no question that, Trey is, I think, a future star of this program, if he continues to develop. He already is a true freshman. He has probably the best playmaking skills on the team. If you get him the ball in open space, he's the one guy on the team I think that puts fears into other teams because he can make people miss. And he's just getting started. We really haven't seen him as heavily involved in the offense as we did on Saturday against Vanderbilt. I think he had 8 catches. A lot of them were just quick routes, get him the ball and see what he can do. And that he did have his first career touchdown reception. He's one of 11 true freshmen that have played for Florida this season, which leads all of college football. So that's a promising sign in terms of young players playing. But Trey Wilson is certainly one of the guys that people are most interested in.
And evidently, there's a new tight end on the market too, as well, who had a big game. Arliss, tell me a little bit about him.
Yeah, Arliss Boardingham, he's one of these guys that he's outside the normal spectrum where the Gators recruit. He's from California, JP.
Yeah.
A guy that they had in the program, and he didn't play much last year, but now he's getting a chance, and he had 2 touchdown catches against Vanderbilt. And again, where this team is right now, where this program is, I think that's probably the most promising sign of what we're talking about here. It's young players who are doing most of this, and that's where a team in Florida's situation needs to be, because it is a program that, I mean, they'll win some games this year, but at the same time, it's truly a rebuild job that Billy Napier came in and took over. So as long as they continue to get some production from young players, win a few games, I think they'll be okay. But it was good to see mostly the young guys still in the show against Vanderbilt.
So I know, obviously, this has been the key topic of conversation, this going on the road thing. You've been there. You see what's going on with the team. Can you put a finger on what the problem is? I mean, obviously at home, young kids get more excited. They play with more emotion. There's just an energy level that the home crowd, it's the home crowd advantage for a reason. But good teams are able to replicate the execution on the road. What's not happening for the Gators here?
Yeah, I have seen it up close. I've seen different coaches do it, and I mean the people who, when you think about going on the road in college football, it's a very strict, streamlined process. Gators typically fly out about 2:30, 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. They get to the hotel. By that time, it's almost dinner time, so they get some meetings, some food, and then they go to curfew. I mean, if I was sitting here and saying, yeah, Billy Napier's he doesn't have a curfew. He's letting them stay out all night. Well, then that would be an easy answer, right? But, it's not. I mean, it's
maybe
not
you ought to. Maybe you ought to let him go down to 5 points and have a good time, boys. Show up at game time. Let's get it done.
Maybe that would help. But, I think it's just a matter of really – it's a young team mostly.
Yeah.
And they're still learning. And you're right. You have to have a different mentality on the road. And, a noon game like at Kentucky, I mean, I remember getting out of bed, going to cover the game. And I'm like, man, by halftime, I finally had all the cobwebs shaken out.
Yeah, that's tough.
It's just different. But, I think it's just a combination of things. But the true answer is this is a program that's just not it's inconsistent in all phases right now because it's young, and unfortunately the road thing stands out, but they're eventually going to have to overcome that and learn to win on the road to get to where they want to go. So I think Saturday offers a good chance of that at South Carolina, because this is a game that realistically I think they can win, and it's one of those few games on the schedule where you look at, I mean, they're going to be underdogs pretty much the rest of the way except maybe against Arkansas. So this is an important chance to get a win.
Scott Carter joining us from FloridaGators.com. You talk about Graham Mertz, and I think a lot of Florida fans were kind of down on him. He maybe wasn't the biggest name or the flashiest athlete, but man, his numbers are just fantastic, and he has been really, really good. And with a calming presence, veteran presence like that on the road, you would think that would be a big help. He's only played one true road game, or
he had the Utah and Kentucky.
and Kentucky, two road games. I can't really put it on him, so just talk a little bit about him and his steadying influence and how he could be the key to getting a big road win.
Yeah, I mean, he's played okay on the road. He is a calming presence. He's a guy that I like everything he's brought to the team. He's stabilized some things, and he just gives them a different vantage point because he's played so much football, and he didn't just do it at a lower level. I mean, he did it in the Big Ten. He had some big moments. So all these kind of games, like he's played at Ohio State, he's played at Michigan, he's played at Nebraska. So a trip to South Carolina is certainly not going to face him at all. And I think he's trying to still impart that onto some of his younger teammates. That process does take some time, but I think all they have to do is, hey, follow him as an example, because not only does he do things right off the field, but the guy, like you said, his numbers are incredible. He's completing almost 80% of his passes.
Yeah.
He's 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And again, some of the fans out there are like, well, they need to throw the ball down the field more. They need to go for some deep balls more. That's fine and all, but this is what they're doing well. And whenever you go out and you complete 30 of 36 passes, I don't care what level you are at. That's hard. That's hard to do. The other team is actually trying to stop you. So, he's had some pretty good performances.
Yeah.
I think, maybe some of that will evolve down the road. But right now, I think Graham Mertz is an asset when they go on the road, certainly.
Oh, no question about it. No question about it. Injuries this week. How's the offensive line looking?
Still a little banged up. They got Cameron Waits back from an Achilles tendon tear, which, JP, man, you remember how these used to be. One of those injuries would knock you out for over a year.
Yeah.
This guy's back in like 8 months, and he played against Vanderbilt. So it's good to get him back. Kingsley Aguakan is still kind of questionable, not 100%. And then the really only new player on the injury report this week was Andy Jean, the freshman wide receiver, who has been starting to play some, but with Trey Wilson back in full mode, I don't see that being a huge thing. And Trevor Etienne, obviously, we expect to see him back. So to have him and Johnson in the backfield is certainly a plus.
All right, looking around the SEC, were you a little surprised that Kentucky got crushed by Georgia? And I gotta love Stoops' comments to the fans. That was, it's the week before they beat the Gators. Everybody's raving about Mark Stoops and what a great coach he is. Then he gets his ass kicked and he blames it on the fans. I don't know about that. He's right though. He's, if you haven't heard the comments, folks, he was like, look, you guys, you complain about me getting my ass kicked. Give us more money. We'll go out and buy more players like Georgia's. Georgia's spending a lot of money on players, a lot more than Kentucky is. So he's right. But it's just interesting that the coaches now have that nice little out card. Right, give me more money.
Certainly another card to play in the deck, and I thought it was funny too when I saw that. I was like, oh, okay. See,
maybe divert some of that coaching salary just to your NIL. How about that?
Yeah, that would be a pretty good comeback for the fans, certainly. I just think, I wasn't too surprised, JP. I mean, obviously, I expected maybe it'd be a little closer game, but I didn't. I knew Kentucky would have to do something remarkable to go down to Athens and win, because they're a program that everybody looks at them like, okay, they beat Florida, they're 5-0, but to take that next step, man, to really join that elite, you have to be ready to win those games at Georgia. And until they win one of those, I'm not sure I'll believe in them like, maybe Big Blue Nation does. But I think some of those fans even jumped off the bandwagon after what they saw last week. But, Stoops, Stoops done a great job with that program. I think they are knocking at the door, but you got to beat the Georgias and Alabamas when you have a chance, or it's still Georgia and Alabama ruling the pin,
No question. Is there, there's been a lot of talk about SEC expansion. I don't know how much you've gotten into this, and I hear people say Florida State be much better in the SEC, but Florida will never let that happen. I think that's kind of an old mentality. I think it's above their pay grade now, so to speak. I don't think individual schools can necessarily do that blocking or whatever, even if that were the case anymore. There's too much money at stake. Yeah. So I don't really believe that's the case. Do you sense any momentum into SEC further expansion right now, with Clemson and FSU very much on the table? What do you think?
Well, I mean, I just know within the last couple of months, Greg Sankey, addressed that. He said they were very pleased with where they are. That was in the wake of the recent movement in the Pac-10.
Yeah.
But JP, we've seen this change so drastically at times. Again, I'll say it any time. Nothing will surprise me.
Exactly.
I still think where we're going, I don't see it being a power three. I eventually think the TV powers, they love to have things a little more symmetry, and they'll want 2 power divisions, about 40 teams. Florida State certainly should fit in that mold, and if it's in if it's in the Florida side, I don't think the old school mentality will even register at all. I mean, if they fit better over here with the SEC side, put them there and let's play, because it's a whole new game. All the stuff that we are accustomed to. I mean, I hate to say a lot of it's being thrown out to the side, but if they were in the same, whenever they play, it's still going to be an important game to the people where those schools matter. So.
No, I agree. And I think I see four super conferences, maybe of 16 to 20 teams.
Yeah.
Because I think that seems about the amount of relevant teams that are really, and then you could have a relegation system, for the bottom 5 or 10. That would be kind of cool, right? With those other non-power 5. But I think that's where it's headed. And I just hope that the regional rivalries are not messed with. Florida should always play Florida State. Miami should always play Florida State. Florida should always play Georgia. All these things need to be kept in because to me, that's the heart of college football. That's the heart and soul of college football, these rivalries, right?
I agree. If you do just disregard those, I mean, then you're really hurting your product. Yeah. But, like Oklahoma, Texas, the Red River rivalry, we saw it last week.
What a great game. What a great atmosphere.
Great game. And, next year, that's an SEC game, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So, you start taking that stuff away, then there's a lot of people that lose interest.
No, I agree. All right, Scotty, tell everybody what's coming up in your content, where they can find it.
Yeah, FloridaGators.com is our website. I'm on Twitter at GatorsScott. And obviously, I'm writing a lot about the South Carolina game today and tomorrow, and trying to figure out, write a little bit about what they're saying this week about this road situation. But they don't have many more answers than I did, JP. Yeah. It's just, you could sleep more, and you just got to go out there and play well, man.
And what time's the game Saturday?
Game's at 3:30 on Saturday.
3:30. All right, good. I hate those nooners. FSU's got a nooner against Syracuse. I was going to go up this weekend. I'm like, nah, can't do it. It's too early.
They're tough, man. They're tough.
Yeah. All right, Scotty, thanks, buddy. Appreciate your time as always. Sky Carter, FloridaGators.com. This freaking noon games are just awful. Please stop that. Those are Florida State's too good. They're too good to keep getting the noon games. Let's get them back in prime time. It's no good. But 3:30 for the Gators, so at least that makes your viewing good. I do like that part of it. I can start with FSU, then go to Florida, and then whatever the primetime games are. We got USC, Notre Dame, so we'll look at some of those primetime games in our next segment. Why don't we do that? We'll do a little bit of college football previews. I'm trying to find my breaks here now. That's why I'm like, this is producing. I used to be able to multitask, but those days are long gone. All right, quick break, and we will come back. We'll talk some college football. Want to get a little bit into baseball last night. Boy, some incredible games. Bryce Harper, 2 home runs. So we'll get into that when we come back here on the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at the Patio. We will be there a week from Friday. We're moving our live remotes from Monday to Friday. So come down and join us at the Patio. Always the best place to watch Thursday Night Football tonight. So check that out. Their happy hour goes from 3 to 7:30, $1 off beer and wine. And for our Friday night happy hour presented by White Claw and the Jeeves Law Group, we will have $4 White Claw seltzers and $4 White Claw vodkas. Get a cocktail for $4 anymore? Where's that happening? At the Patio, where everybody meets. So come on out and join us. Anytime is a great time to head over to the Patio. Back in 3. Stay with us.
Well, Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com. Have any old coins sitting around the house? Well, the Golden Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. Their gold buying program includes sterling silver, silver, platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver flatware. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't, so check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of any family-owned jewelry store in the country, especially with summer coming to an end. The holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start your holiday shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or have any birthdays or anniversaries coming up. Come on in and find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. And the best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. The Golden Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance your purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get a $5,000 diamond for only $83 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
Peterson Show here as we roll through on this Thursday afternoon. No more guests. So if you guys want to jump in the comments, we will take up any questions, comments you want to do. As I mentioned, we'll be at the patio, not this Friday, but next Friday, but head on down there for all you're watching this weekend. Our thanks to Bay Area Modern Medical Center, Chris Lugo and his gang over there. If you got to get your testosterone right, that's the place to go, BAMMC.com. Also, if you're looking to lose weight, they got great programs over there to help you lose weight. I've been working with Chris on that as well. They got the semaglutide, these different things. Let them get your blood work done, and they'll get you on a program, lose weight safely, and be able to keep it off. And it'll help you with your nutrition needs as well. So, and if you're looking to just get a primary care physician that really will spend some time with you and not 15 minutes and kick you out, that's where to go, Bay Area Modern Medical Center. You can use your insurance for all your labs, all your specialists, all that stuff, but get a primary care guy that will direct your medical program and will spend an hour and a half with you going over your blood work. That's what Chris Lugo does. So a lot of my friends have used him as primary care. You should do it as well. BAMMC.com is where to go for that. All right, let's get to some of the comments here. Our good friend James is on with the Bucs can stop the run, we win. Totally agree with that, my friend. That's the key to this game. The Lions can flat out run the football. And I don't know if Jahmyr Gibbs was did not play last week. He's on the injury report again this week. Let me see if I can call up the injury report for the Lions, because it is extensive. So yeah, they've got a lot of injury issues themselves. I mean, you look at the Bucs; they're it's an issue, but the injury report is full for them as well. So yeah, Jamel Dean participated, full participation for him. Servassier Dennis is back this week. I'm really interested to see what his role is going to be. Obviously, he'll be playing special teams, but he's going to spell Levante David and Devin White. And this will be interesting to watch. As I mentioned many times, Devin White named a captain on the team again this year, and I'm not trying to bang on Devin White, but if you're in a situation where, just like the Lions, the Eagles game, that they're just running through you like butter, hot knife through butter, and Devin White can't get off a block. Let's see what Servassier Dennis can do. I mean, why put him in for a couple of a series and see what he can do and see if the defense is better. I mean, this is NFL football. It's going to be hard for Todd Bowles to do that. I mean, everybody's going to know, everybody's going to see it. But if you're getting gashed like you were against the Eagles, you got to do something. If you got somebody who maybe can play the run better, let's see it. So I think it's going to be a very, very interesting thing to watch. If the Lions start gashing the Bucs in the run game, does Servassier Dennis get a look? How much will Kalijah Kancey play? Calf injury early on this season. He played, I think, 10 snaps in the opener, got a couple of quarterback pressures, looked great, but then tweaked it again. And the Bucs have been very cautious with him. I think they wanted to get to the bye week and just give him all that time. So he should be fully healthy now. And this is why they drafted him, to disrupt the run game and to give him some help in the pass game as well, in the pass rush. So I'm very, very interested to look for number 94 and see what he's going to do this week, Kalijah Kancey. Ryan Neal, who had the concussion, is back, full participation, so he should be back out there. Listen, not for nothing, but freaking D. Delaney makes plays. D. Delaney needs snaps. I know he gives up some plays, but every time he plays, he's getting a pick, popping a ball loose, jumping on a ball. So I know Ryan Neal is back. He's 6'3". He's a striker. He's long and he hits hard. He's a good player, but I want D. Delaney to get some snaps too. And maybe D. Delaney takes some snaps from Jamel Dean, who has not played great. So again, you got guys that are getting paid a lot of money, C's on their chest. If you're not answering the bell, if you're not playing well, this is where coaching really, really comes in. These are tough calls for coaches to make. And Todd Bowles I think he's managed games extremely well. Will he make those tough calls if guys aren't playing well? We'll see. Anthony Nelson is also in concussion protocol, full participation. Derek Pitts, reserve corner, full participation. Devin White, had that foot issue, full participation for him. Now, the Lions, Brian Branch, their fine safety, did not participate. He's got a severe ankle injury, Really, really good player. We'll see. We'll watch that all week, but so far so bad for him. Taylor Decker tackle ankle was limited. Jahmyr Gibbs hamstring did not participate. So let's watch that all weekend long. He is their explosive back. He is the guy that gets out on the edge and can take it to the house. Alabama kid, you've seen him play. The start of the season was really, really good. He's a weapon. So if he doesn't play, that's huge for the Buccaneers. Jonah Jackson, guard, did not participate. Zonovan Knight, running back, did not participate. James Mitchell, tight end, did not participate. Emmanuel Mobley, their corner, knee, did not participate. Ragnow, the center, toe, did full participation. Amon-Ra St. Brown, who missed last week, their top receiver on my fantasy team, limited participation. He's got an abdomen issue. So, kind of like those obliques, those are weird. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can play, how much he can play, how good he can be. So both of these teams are really banged up. And by the way, in betting, fantasy football, obviously, but especially in your wagering, folks, pay attention to the injury list, especially along the offensive line. And right now, the Lions are banged up on the offensive line. Pay attention to that. That's going to be a huge issue, especially if the Bucs can get their rotation going again with Cansey in there. Logan Hall's been better. I'd like to see JTS step up this week. I'd like to see Shaq Barrett step up this week. They're going to need all those guys if they're going to beat the Lions. So injuries are going to be big this week. Also, let me get to some of the other comments here from James as we transition a little bit into the Rays. The Rays cry poor every year. The TBT never calls them out. I know. Everyone thinks this is a small market team. It's not true, yet everyone thinks the Rays are strapped financially. If the media doesn't help, Stu just gets a pass. Bro, as you know, James, you're preaching to the choir right here. I just and then the article in the Times, and I'm not trying to bang on Mark Topkin, and I know they'll all hate me for saying anything bad about the Times, but I keep it real here, folks. I don't care whether they like me or not. Don't give a crap. They're never going to like me, so I'm good. But I've said this, on previous shows. If you're going to do a story about them spending money, okay, and you're going to mention Charlie Morton, that they paid him 2 years, $30 million, you have to mention the fact that they declined the team option for $15 million. Do you not? Come on. And so, if you're not mentioning that, why are you not mentioning that? And I think the media has always given Stu a pass in this regard. They constantly write these stories about, the Rays are financially no, they're not. For F's sake, he moved $500 million into another company. He took all the money up, 7 years, reportedly, of the Fox Sports money. That was the regional sports network of the new television deal. He got a lot of money up front, which was smart business, by the way, now that they failed and they're in bankruptcy. But is that money poured back into the team? No, it's not. It's moved to a different company, a different Rays company, but it's not helping the team, right? He's looking for investors to put into the new stadium so he doesn't have to put any money into that. And again, I don't have any problem with Stu Sternberg making money, but don't sit there and blame the fans for years and years and years and tell the fans that every penny we make, we're going to put back into the team. Bold face lie. You wouldn't even tell your partners what you're paying yourself. So that money that you're paying to manage the team and the salary that you're taking, how much is it? I'd like to know. Probably a lot more than you're paying any of your players. But of course, we won't know that unless this lawsuit gets to the discovery phase, which would be really fun. And we get all the emails and all the financial numbers. Can you imagine? By the way, this will never happen, but because Major League Baseball won't let it happen, he's going to have to settle that case. How's he going to do it? What are going to be the parameters? How much of that is that? And I'm telling you, these partners who brought this case do not want just money. They want him out. They've told me so. So how's that going to get resolved? Interesting. And the fact that the commissioner still hasn't said anything about the new stadium. Interesting. So, yeah. And if that were to come out, oh my God. And how much money is he making? How much money are we paying all these other executives? I would venture to say a hell of a lot more than they're paying their players. And this is what it gets down to. And people say, "Oh, you got, your personal stuff." No, I don't give a rip, personally, but don't blame the fans. And don't sit there with a $70-80 million payroll and say that you're doing everything you can to win. You're not. Well, we don't have to spend money to win. Look at the Dodgers. Well, the Dodgers are in it every year, and the Dodgers did win a World Series, and they beat you. Okay? The Astros are going to their 7th straight, ALCS. They spend money. They have stars. Okay? And once upon a time, Houston wasn't a great baseball team. You know what they did? They built a great downtown stadium, revitalized a whole blighted area in Houston, and they put the stadium where the fans are and where it's easily accessible. And then they poured all that money into their team. Same thing that the Braves have done. Same thing that the Rays could do, but refuse to do because Stu wants to get all this money up front, sell the team, and get the hell out of town. So that's all. And that's not good for baseball. That's not good for Tampa Bay baseball fans. And that's whose side I'm on. And clearly, I'm not alone. A lot of the Tampa Bay baseball fans will agree. Mike Stover says it's a real bitter pill to swallow that the Rays can stay above 500 the whole season and just get the doors blown off. But in retrospect, Texas got really hot and sent us to another playoff exit. Yeah, I mean, that's the narrative. And you look at the Dodgers getting beat last night. By the way, how about the Diamondbacks? 4 home runs in 1 inning. Never been done before. Lance Lynn. Oh, my God. Lance Lynn, who they acquired, I believe, at the deadline. Man, he looked old and fat. That's what he really did. It was not pretty. And it was funny because he gives up 3 home runs. And then I forgot who the last one was, Moreno, I believe, drills one down the right field line, and they think it's a home run, and it's not. And it's like exhale. And next pitch, he hangs a curveball, and he just smokes it to left center field. And you could see Lynn just put his head down like that. But, all that being said, the Dodgers scored 2 runs. That mighty, highly paid, highly starred lineup only scored 2 runs in an elimination game, and they're gone. So spending money, it doesn't guarantee you win a World Series. Not spending money guarantees you won't. That's what the numbers tell you. So, if Eric Neander is going to sit up there at the president, I love Eric, love the baseball guys, but that, that doesn't make sense. And I know Eric knows he's trying to, he's telling the press what he's been told to say. He's being a good soldier and saying, no, we have all the money to spend that we want. Really? You could spend $120 million on payroll, but as a general manager, you choose not to. Really. And nobody questions that. It's like, excuse me, Mr. Neander, really? So you are free to spend 120, 150 million payroll, but as a general manager whose job it is to bring in the best talent to win, the best talent, you are not going to offer. Okay, so you were in it on Freddie Freeman. Throw another 50 million in there. Maybe you get him. But you're free to spend as much as you want. I mean, they've never spent more than 80 million on an opening day payroll, but we're supposed to believe that you just would rather spend only. And then this whole narrative, my God, if I hear one more person in the press or on a podcast say they're in a small market team and they're not able to spend, it's such complete horse crap. Stop it. Well, nobody goes to a playoff game, so they can't spend it on. No, that's completely wrong. There's more money, more revenue streams than just tickets. This is not 1975. For God's sakes. They're getting $85 million a year in local television revenue alone. At least. So come on. It's ridiculous. So anyway, it is what it is with the Rays. That's not going to change as long as he is the owner. But as we learned from Ken Hagan, there are 2 groups. There are 2 groups that are currently bidding to buy the Rays. And hopefully, one of these groups comes out with it before this stadium is done. Then, that's, and by the way, if that happens, it's going to be better for St. Pete, folks. You're not going to have to build $1.3 billion in public money to for a stadium that's going to be empty come playoff time. All right. And folks, I know you're like, oh, but they'll be building condos around here and there'll be more people to go to the games. That's great. That might be a couple thousand more if they go to the games. But chances are, if they're moving to St. Pete, they probably won't, because that culture of downtown St. Pete, it's not people that like to go to baseball games. They like to go to Janus Landing, and that's fine. That's fine, but let's not make the same mistake again. All right, we'll take another quick break. We'll come back and finish things up, get into some NFL and college football as we head to the weekend, and a couple other notes we got to get to. Stay with us. Quick break here. Brought to you by the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source. Always a great time to start shopping for the holidays. We got holidays coming up, right? So get started early. You could do layaway. They have financing, low financing for up to 5 years. Go see what kind of diamond you can get if you're looking to get engaged at Christmas time. Now's the great time to start getting ready. Go see what your budget can afford. They have some great value for it, and it's all there, by the way. They don't have to send out so many of these other jewelry places. You got to go send out to see this or go get this. Everything is in-house. It's a huge inventory, and anything you want to do in terms of designing something, they can do that as well for you. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Owington Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. All right, back in 3 minutes with more. Stay with us. JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
So you're experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had. It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. So do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9 Jeeves. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on this Thursday. Had a great chat with Bobby the Chief Taylor earlier in the show about the Lightning. We'll talk a little bit more about that here in just a little bit. We got the NFL weekend coming up, which is going to be interesting. Good slate of college football games as well we need to get to. I want to remind you of the great folks at Extravaganza Productions. If you have a meeting coming up of any size, big or small, or maybe a big birthday party, you want to get somebody to professionally do it for you, you have a charity event coming up, Extravaganza Productions, great folks over there. Go see our good friends over there. They have a warehouse full of props that they can use. I mean, the creative options are endless over there. So just go to their website, extravaganzaproductions.com, and you will be able to see all the cool stuff that they have there. You can get a free creative meeting with them. If you contact them, tell them you heard it on the JP Show, and you can go over and take a look at all their warehouse, their props, and all that stuff. Really cool stuff, and they can sit down with you and tell you what they can do for your particular event, your charity event. That's Extravaganza Productions. Productions Incorporated. So just Google them up and contact them. Tell them JP sent you. All right, let's get to some of the other stories that are out there. I don't know if you saw the game last night between the Phillies and the Braves. Bryce Harper with a couple of home runs last night, and there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. Arcia, their shortstop, the Braves, was heard, and I guess this was heard near the dressing room or somewhere, or where he was saying, "Attaboy Harper, attaboy Harper." I don't know if it was away from the field or what have you. So there were signs last night in Citizens Bank Park, or attaboy Harper. So when Harper hits the home runs, the two bombs that he hit last night, he's rounding second base and he's like giving the stare down to Arcia, and he's not looking. He's not looking. And so the first time it was rather apparent. The second time it was rather apparent as well. And Arcia would not look at him. So you got some bad blood now going between these two teams, which is kind of cool, right? And Harper's statement last night was like super. It's just, I talked about this earlier. He's like, man, I love coming to the bank, the Citizens Bank Park here. It's freaking awesome. I want to win a championship for the owner. Of course you do. You're paying you $35 million a year. You better. But it just adds a little chirp into it. I mean, Harper's been, I know a lot of people don't like him. I think he's, doesn't play the game the right way or whatever, doesn't respect it, whatever. I've never had a real big problem with Bryce Harper. He graded me a little bit early on in his career, but I think he's become a pretty good pro. And you know what? When you answer the bell in postseason, that's what it's all about. You get to talk. If you're doing, you can go out there and prove it. You get to chirp. So that's cool. Orlando Arcia. But here's the other thing. So Travis d'Arnaud, former Ray, another one we let go. He said he was like blaming the media because they got it out there that Arcia said that. And again, I don't know if it was in the dressing room. I'll say this. If a guy's in a dressing room and he's chirping like that, and you're privileged, you have the privileged access of being in there. As a reporter, I don't know if I'm reporting that. Okay? Because there's an understanding that now if he says it on camera, like, and more on the record, no problem. And there's also this. He knows there's reporters around if he's in the dressing room. He knows he can hear them. So, I think so it's just a bit of a gray area. But I think for Travis d'Arnaud to, start chirping at the media because they reported it, that's a little rich. If you don't want to do it, listen, just stand behind it. What's the problem? Or, stand behind it. Yeah, I said attaboy, Bryce Harper. He just, what's so wrong with that? If Orlando Arcia, if you have a problem with Bryce Harper, okay, say it with your chest. Say it with your chest. No, don't back down now. Don't have Travis d'Arnaud go out there and the media shouldn't be reporting that. Come on. It's just a little bit of chirping. What's the big deal? So he put it in your face. So go back and put it in his face. That's sports. That's chirping. That's fun. Why is it, such a bad thing? It's like Harper said last night, quote, it's a super competitive game that we play from both sides of the ball. And I enjoy commentary and things anytime anybody says something, right? I mean, that's what it's all about. Yeah, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And I thought the other night that, the great double play that ends the game for the Braves in their one win. I thought that was, I didn't think that was a horrible play by Harper because they're down a run in the ninth with one out. If he crosses second base, he's, 3 or 4 strides on the other side of second base. If that ball goes off Harris's glove, he's probably going to score. If he's on the other side of second base, more or tagging up, he's not going to score. Harris makes a hell of a play. I mean, he runs full force into that wall to make that play. That's got to be like a 10, 15% chance. And if he just, if that ball just falls and you're sitting there tagging up, you're not scoring. So I thought, Harper made a choice. He made a choice. That was his read. I think it was a good read because, again, Harris is going to make that play maybe 1 out of 10 times. He made a good read. And it just, Harris made a hell of a play, gets doubled off. That's and if you're RC and you want to say attaboy Harper, okay, fine. Stand behind it. Don't go hiding now. Don't not look at Bryce Harper. That's weak. So now we got a really good series going on with this one. Castellanos, by the way, had a couple of bombs last night as well. He wore wearing a gear inspired by Colorado coach Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, and said, and I think he put on his Twitter, now it's personal for the Coach Prime thing. So yeah, I love it. It's personal now. So here we go. Tonight we got, let's see what we got here. Let me check this out. So baseball gets interesting this time of year. I'm sure wish the Rays were involved in it, right? So tonight, 8:00 on TBS. The Braves, who we got going to? Spencer Strider going tonight against Ranger Suarez. So Strider has been really, really good. Went 7 innings, gave up 5 hits, 8 strikeouts. He's been really, really good. So that's who you want on the bump tonight if you're the Braves. So Atlanta's the favorite tonight with Strider on the mound, minus 155. That's 8:00. So I'll probably be watching that tonight. On Amazon tonight, your Amazon Prime. By the way, you can also watch it on the NFL app. It works. The Broncos at the Chiefs. Is Taylor Swift scheduled to be there tonight? Don't know. I hope not because I don't know. This game's so boring. I mean, the Chiefs are going to roll the Broncos, right? The Broncos have a 15-game losing streak to the Chiefs. Is that even a thing in pro football? They've lost 15 in a row to the Chiefs. So that's tonight at 8:15. I'll probably be watching a lot more baseball than I will be watching football tab. But we'll keep an eye on that. We have some fantasy implications in that one tonight with the Chiefs. So Travis Kelce and the boys. We'll see if the Broncos can go in there. And the Broncos are a freaking mess and 1-4 now. They gave up 70 earlier to the Dolphins. So we'll see what happens tonight. And head on out to the patio to watch Thursday Night Football and the baseball as well. Happy hour going from 3 to 7:30. So you can do that there. All right. This weekend, we got a 9:30 game once again. Over there is this the London game or is this a Germany game? Not sure. Let's check this one out. We got Baltimore, the Ravens, and the Titans. Ravens at 3-2, the Titans at 2-3. 9:30 a.m. The international series. They are in London, so we'll see how that one goes. Look, the Ravens are a bit of an enigma for me. They're getting some of their receivers back. Odell Beckham is back. Bateman is back now. They had 8 drops last week that cost them the game. So it's not on Lamar Jackson, But I still think the Ravens are a really, really good football team. They haven't played their best football yet. Todd Monken, their new OC, former Bucs OC, former Georgia OC. It's going to take a little bit for that to get going. I still think the Ravens are a pretty good football team, so we'll see what happens there. The Falcons at 3-2. Surprising Falcons, just one game behind the Buccaneers, will be hosting the Commanders at 2-3. Their quarterback's been up and down. For me, Desmond Ridder is a guy that is just, he's still I think he's had 7-8 starts now in his career, started at the end of last year. Sam Howell starting for Washington. So you got a couple of young starters. Atlanta's going to run the football, try to play possession. This game will be boring as shit, but Atlanta, I'd love to see Washington, the Commanders, step up and get them, but Atlanta's still 3-2, very much in it. We got 2 games left with them, obviously, so we'll see them in a couple of weeks at Raymond James Stadium. The Bengals coming off a big win. Looks like Joe Burrow's healing a little bit. His calf, he's my fantasy quarterback. Like, come on, can you get this freaking thing going, please? Taking on the 3-1 Seattle Seahawks. It's interesting. You look at the draft picks, the young corners, name escapes me right now, that they got with the Russell Wilson draft picks that they got. Seattle's a good freaking team. And Geno is still playing really, really well. He got hurt. Drew Lock stepped up and played well. So they're 3-1 at Cincinnati, 2-3. Jamar Chase starting to heat up as well. So we could use a little help there from the Bengals with a win there. But kind of pulling for Geno in Seattle, right? A little bit. Also, 1 o'clock, the Colts at a surprising 3-2. Now, Gardner Minshew heading back to Jacksonville. Duval. He was such a Duval guy, right? But Trevor Lawrence, pretty good player. That'll be interesting, right? The Colts at 3-2, the Jags at 3-2, an overachiever against maybe a bit of an underachiever. Everybody thought Jacksonville would be good. We'll see them a little bit later on this year. So that'll be an interesting one at 1 o'clock as Gardner Minshew in for Anthony Richardson, who's now out 4 to 8 weeks with that shoulder sprain, running quarterbacks, Then the 0-5 Carolina Panthers. So glad you took Bryce Young instead of CJ Stroud. That's a big win for the Buccaneer fans. Such a big win. So Carolina is at Miami. This will be the biggest spread of the week. Do I have a spread on this? What is the spread on this? It's not big enough. That's not what I'm looking for. I don't want tickets. I think I saw it at 13.5. Anyway, so Miami and Carolinas. Where is the number on this? We don't have a number. Did I put a number up there on that one? Okay, so we got that's also a 1 o'clock game. We got Minnesota and Chicago. The Bears finally get a dub. Both 1-4 versus 1-4. Who's going to be worse this week? We shall see. We also have this is an interesting game. This way, San Francisco and Cleveland. The Browns are 2-2. I believe they had a bye last week, did they? And the 49ers are just rolling at 5-0. But 2 really physical teams. It'd be interesting to see if the 49ers can run the ball against this really, really good Cleveland Browns defense. And Deshaun Watson is iffy whether he's going to play or not. We shall see. New Orleans is at Houston, surprising Texans at 2-3. This will be an interesting game as New Orleans is on the road for the 2nd straight week after pounding the hapless Patriots. Bill Belichick, by the way, just hanging up, please, bro. So that's another 1 o'clock game there as well. 4 o'clock games, New England at Las Vegas as Belichick goes out to play his former mate there, Josh McDaniels. Of course, the Bucs and the Detroit Lions at 4:25, and Arizona and the Rams also at 4:25. That'll be interesting as well. Arizona and the Rams. Arizona's been a little surprising with Josh Dobbs as quarterback. The Eagles are at the Jets. That's the other 4:25 game on Fox that they'll be bailing out of. And Sunday Night Football, it'll be the Giants at Buffalo. Bills Mafia will be in full force out at the patio. So go check that out if you're interested. There's your NFL slate coming up this weekend. All right, any final comments from you guys that we can get to? You made some bets on the Chiefs, did you, Jeremy Lowe? What is that number? I think it's 13.5, isn't it? It's not enough. Peter Gammon's such a joke. I'd like to know how his sources worried about Cash leaving on a Cleveland radio show. You know, he's under contract to the Rays for another year. And I think the Rays have the option on the second year. You know, does he deserve more money? Probably. Are they going to pay him? I don't know. You know, the Rays did not necessarily fight to have Joe Madden stay. So I don't necessarily think that I don't know Kevin Cash that well, but I just got to feel like he's got to be, like Joe Madden was. It's like you're not going to spend any money on payroll. I constantly got to deal with this stuff. Is he happy here? He says he is. Would it shock me if he left? No, it wouldn't shock me if he left at all. It wouldn't at all. All right. Our thanks to Bobby the Chief Taylor, who joined us today, Dan Lucas, and Scott Carter. If you missed anything, please go check it out on Apple and Spotify. Follow us, subscribe, like, doesn't cost any money. Subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, DSP Media, The JP Peterson Show. Please follow us on X and on Instagram as well, and Facebook. We're all there for you, and we're here each and every day, 12 to 2, with the independent voice of the fans, The JP Peterson Show. So thank you all so much for watching. We will be back tomorrow at the same bat time. Thanks for joining us. Tomorrow could be a fun show. I'm thinking about going all 70s tomorrow. What do you think? Give me some comments. We'll do it. Have a great day, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow.
So he wiped out my personal checking and savings account that he's authorized on.